Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon you. Good afternoon, mabuhay. Let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the House of Representatives and the people of the Philippines as the host of the 38th AIPA General Assembly for their warm hospitality. They have done their best to ensure the success of our meeting. I would like to take this opportunity to address the critical aspect of partnership between the legislative and executive bodies as indispensable part of regional integration, as have been raised by the host country through its team, AIPA and ASEAN, partnering for inclusive change. The message is clear that ASEAN's transformation into an integrated region should be inclusive, leaves no one behind. True, we have come a long way to get to where we are. The AEC has been implemented since December 31st, 2015, and since then, and its 50th year anniversary, ASEAN continues to score positive growth while other regions stood in stagnation. Hence, along with our strong determination to put the ASEAN Economic Community Blueprint 2025 into reality, we are facing numerous internal and external challenges. The global environment is changing rapidly. As more actors involved in the process, partnership has becoming more significant. As the two prominent institutions in Southeast Asia, AIPA and ASEAN need to respond to the situation by continuously building and evolving their partnership approach. A constructive approach which demonstrates our objectives, reflects our values, and explains who we are and who we are working with. We need to replace our traditional way of interaction and communication with a range of more diverse strategies, including through increasing the involvement of each party in policy formulation and decision making. It calls for partnership reform. Honorable delegates, there are at least 5 key challenges that we are all facing today: persistent poverty, socio-economic gaps, climate change, territorial dispute, and internal conflict. 20 years ago, we were shocked by the alarming impact of the ASEAN financial crisis. We did not realize how far we have been attached to one another. But today, we have gone even further. When regional integration is only a matter of time, we could not tolerate another crisis. Unfortunately, major potential risks, including shocks in the global economy and violent conflict, persisted. As a prevention, policy formulation and decision-making need to adapt with the ongoing challenges, focusing at the regional level to prevent catastrophes. Yet, the most critical challenge is how to improve the capacity and the relationship of regional institutions to enable them to respond and to apply coherent actions collectively in an increasingly dynamic region. A collective action plan involving both the legislative and executives should be pursued in an unprecedented scale. Considering the multi-dimensional state, more actors with varied authorities and capabilities should be involved in the process. Allow me to outline the main options available for partnership reform. First, we need to change our perspective through innovative approach. I'm personally convinced that together we can improve, adjust, and harmonize legislation and policy implementation by involving more actors, including NGOs, civil society organizations, and academia in the upcoming AIPA meetings. And second, while recognizing the significance of the annual AIPA-ASEAN Interface Meeting to promote the connectivity between the legislative and executive bodies, further approach must be taken. We must encourage the two bodies to build a strong partnership to enhance each other's engagement. Only if there is a mutual recognition of need toward each other, then the two organizational bodies could move into a stronger partnership. In principle, the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia pledges to continue fostering its involvement in AIPA while reaffirms its support for the achievement of the ASEAN Community 2025. On the ASEAN Political Security Community pillar, we remain committed to maintain regional peace and stability as the key for sustainable development. It is within our heartfelt consideration that the ongoing Rohingya persecution in Myanmar has been affecting the neighboring countries and taking the entire region to a setback. When 1/3 of Rohingya population have to flee the country due to the injustice and violence, there is no better words to describe it than ethnic cleansing and grave violation of human rights. Our position on this issue is loud and clear. We condemn the systematic attack on the minority of Rohingya. We urge all parties to respect the rule of law, exercise maximum self-restraint, and stop the ongoing violence against the Rohingya in Rakhine State. The government and parliament of Myanmar must restore peace and stability and provide security and assistance to all those in need irrespective of ethnicity, race, religion, and belief. Collectively, as ASEAN member states, we must end the displacement and sufferings of all communities affected by the escalation of violence. We encourage the government of Myanmar to implement the recommendation of UN Advisory Commission of Rakhine States, as well as to open their country to humanitarian assistance and to be observant to international humanitarian law in addressing the refugee crisis. In facing the external threats, we reaffirm our position as a non-claimant state to the South China Sea while encouraging a peaceful settlement. Without peace, a regional integration is more unlikely to be accomplished. In the creation of ASEAN Economic Community, both AIPA and ASEAN should seek to promote the involvement of small and medium enterprise in the regional supply chains and advocating rural development by providing access towards affordable communication technology to ensure that no one is left behind. While the AAC Blueprint 2025 has recognized the significance of digital economy, it remains at the periphery. With regard to the ASEAN socio-cultural community, we recognize ASEAN's effort to building a people-oriented, people-centered ASEAN community. However, the formulation of ASEAN Community Blueprint and Action Plan should not be exclusive. Therefore, all stakeholders must be involved in the process to bring the people to the heart of regional integration. To guarantee an inclusive change, AIPA and ASEAN must also work together to ensure the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is carried out effectively. With regard to the Sustainable Development Agenda, kindly allow me to extend our appreciation to AIPA member parliaments that participated in recent initiative of the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia, the World Parliamentary Forum on Sustainable Development in Bali last week. Honorable delegates, partnership reform between AIPA and ASEAN will enable us to successfully unifying different people with diverse background, religious values, and ethnicities into one community. We believe that by working with parliaments rather than directly implementing their projects themselves, ASEAN is more likely to achieve a wide-scale impact among the people, including the poor, the rural community, and the marginalized. At the heart of our interest is equal partnership based on mutual respect, trust, understanding, shared responsibility, and joint action towards the successful implementation of ASEAN Community Vision 2025 by shifting power relation in favor of the poor. AIPA-ASEAN partnership reform is not meant to gain power over the other, but to seek more power together to achieve our shared goals. Each institution has its own limitations, but continuously exchanging and sharing resources, knowledge, and information we can identify our strengths and exceed our own boundaries. Fellow parliamentarians, we identify the lack of awareness and understanding between the people as the most significant barrier which continue to slowing down the process of regional integration. How the people identify themselves as citizens of ASEAN will determine the successful establishment of the ASEAN community. ASEAN should be known. Regardless of our political system or the size of our constituencies, we should see ourselves as the lifelong agents of change. The inclusiveness of ASEAN community will depend on our efforts to reach our constituents while increasing their awareness and building their capacity to become the key players in regional integration. There will be no community without the people, and therefore, the interests of the people should be at the heart of AAC Blueprint. I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Lao People's Democratic Republic.